Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. We were trying to get Mrs. Dozier, who can't be with us in person, set on the phone. We are now ready to begin this evening's board meeting. Mrs. Dozier, are you with us?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. The school board meeting of September 10th, 2013 is now called to order. The time is 6:05 p.m. At this time, we request that all cellular phones and/or pagers be turned off or be put into the silent mode. We ask you to please refrain from using flash photography except during the special presentations portion of the meeting. We would like to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of the district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential, and also of the district's vision to become a world-class school system. This evening's agenda includes the invocation, the pleasant presentation of colors and Pledge of Allegiance, 3 resolutions, 1 acknowledgement, public comment, consent action items, which include 1 item under Executive Services, 8 items under Business and Finance, 1 item under Operations, 3 items under Teaching and Learning. 5 superintendent's recommendations, 1 of which is for good cause. Dr. Graham, please provide an explanation for this item.
The Construction Advisory Committee membership was inadvertently left off of the original packet you received, and because those meetings start next week, we need to constitute the membership of that advisory.
Thank you very much, Dr. Graham. As presiding officer, I find that there is good cause to add this item to the agenda. Also on the agenda are 4 items under other business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Morgan and supported by Mr. Armstrong. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. This evening, Mr. Scott will deliver the invocation, after which Mrs. Morgan will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for the opportunity to meet regarding issues of importance to our students, our staff, and the citizens who support what we do. At the beginning of the school year, we ask you to bless each family who has placed their child into our care. Encourage those families to actively participate in the learning of their child, and give us the insight necessary to empower them to do that job to the best of their ability. We ask that you give each of our employees, regardless of their job, the vision to see each student as an individual who has been blessed by you with special gifts to be recognized, treasured, and grown so that we might be a part of helping them to become all you want them to be. Don't allow one of us to squander this unique and profound responsibility you have given to us. Help each of us to study hard, work hard, and when it's time, play hard. Help us also to recognize the importance of spending time in silence so we can truly understand just how blessed each of us is to live in this beautiful place and to enjoy the freedom and the potential to become everything you desired us to be. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, please welcome Master Sergeant Aston Davis, Army instructor of the JROTC program at Cape Coral High School, who will introduce the cadet presenting the color this evening. Master Sergeant Davis retired after 23 years of active service duty and is a veteran of Desert Shield. He has served in the school district for the past 2 years.
Thank you. The national colors will be presented by Cadet Major Kira Simone. Cadet Simone is currently a senior at Cape Coral High School and is the battalion executive officer. She is responsible for all cadet staff in the battalion. She upholds a 3.3 weighted GPA. Cadet Simone is currently on 4 out of 5 JROTC elite teams, including the Raider team, drill team, color team, and the honor guard. She is excited to start her journey after high school by studying oceanographics at FGCU. Please join Cadet Major Simone in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. After the special presentations, we will have a brief recess, so those who wish to leave the auditorium may do so. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Mikey Stroh to join me at the lectern. This is a very quiet crowd tonight, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
We need to rev them up. Ms. Stroh is a district social studies coordinator. Constitution Day and Citizenship Day is an annual event that commemorates the formation and signing of the United States Constitution and recognizes all who, by coming of age or by naturalization, have become U.S. citizens. This day provides an opportunity for United States citizens to recognize the anniversary of the nation's Constitution and the efforts and responsibilities of citizenship. In commemoration of Constitution and Citizenship Day, the district schools will conduct ceremonies and programs to foster a greater understanding and appreciation of the Constitution and the rights and duties of citizenship. Madam Chairman, I'm proud to move for adoption of the resolution proclaiming September 17, 2013 as Constitution Day and Citizenship Day, and in so doing encourage all citizens to rededicate themselves to the principles of the Constitution.
Board members, we have a motion to name September 17, 2013 as Constitution and Citizenship Day. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Mr. Armstrong. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Here you go.
Thank you so very much. Dr. Graham and members of the board. Livening things up a little bit. I just wanted to take an opportunity and say thank you very much for recognizing this very important day for our students and for citizens in the United States.
Thank you, Mr.
I would like to invite the following individuals to join me at the lectern. Dr. Pete Bohatch, Director of Student Services, Mr. John McGraw of the Lee County Sheriff's Office, Ms. Anella Joy Nyack of the Cape Coral Police Department, and Officer Athena Mitchell of the Fort Myers Police Department. A key component to truly effective law enforcement is the strong connection between communities and their police departments. Community policing begins with tapping our most precious resource, our youth. The Lee County Sheriff's Department, the Cape Coral Police Department, and the Fort Myers Police Department have all adopted the Do the Right Thing program, which is designed to instill positive attitudes and self-esteem in local youth by publicly honoring them for their achievements, whether their accomplishments involve academics, athletics, community service, or any other effort where a child is trying to do his or her best to do the right thing. The program each month recognizes the good deeds of young people. Madam Chairman, in recognition of the school district's collaboration and cooperation with these law enforcement agencies and to further promote and support their efforts, I am pleased to move for adoption of the resolution proclaiming the month of September 2013 as Do the Right Thing Month.
Board members, we have a motion to proclaim the month of September as Do the Right Thing Month. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution passed. Thank you.
And Mr. McGraw, would you like to say
Okay, thank you. John, never at a loss for words, McGraw. Sorry about that, John. We'll serve as a spokesperson for the group, so John.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bohatch. On behalf of Chief Murphy and Chief Baker and our Sheriff Mike Scott, thank you for the resolution, and especially thank you for enthusiasm and support for this program. Thousands of children are honored in our county each year through the Fort Myers Police Department, Cape Coral Police Department, and the Lee County Sheriff's Office in this program. So again, thank you for your enthusiasm, thank you for making a difference in these children's lives, and thank you for your support. Thank you, sir. Hi, Doctor. Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you.
Just give me something to do with There you go.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, John. I'd like to invite Evelyn Rivera, Coordinator, ELL Multicultural Language Program Support, to join me at the lectern. What a title.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
The observation of National Hispanic Heritage Month started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week. In 1988, President Ronald Reagan expanded the observation to cover a 31-day period. During Hispanic Heritage Month, we recognize the many Americans of Hispanic descent that have made outstanding contributions to our nation. The rich cultural traditions of the Hispanic American community have made a remarkable impact on American society. The diverse backgrounds of Hispanic Americans and their dedication to family have become an integral part of America. With a deep commitment to faith and a strong desire to live the American dream, these citizens are realizing the full blessings of liberty. Educational opportunities are helping a new generation work toward success, and many Hispanic Americans operate thriving businesses. Madam Chairman, I move for adoption of the resolution proclaiming September 15th through October 15th, 2013, National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Board members, we have a motion to proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2013, National Hispanic Heritage Month. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Armstrong. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passed.
Here you go.
Thank you. Dr. Graham and board members, thank you so much for recognizing the contribution that Hispanics have made and continue to make to this wonderful country and the rest of the world. Thank you so much for this honor. Good night.
The character award for September is tolerance. A fair and objective attitude towards those whose opinions, practices, race, religion, nationality, or the like differs from one's own. Freedom from bigotry. Getting along with all kinds of people. A quote, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much."
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. And I have a quote here from Helen Keller. The highest result of education is tolerance. If there's anyone who would like to leave the auditorium, now is the time to do it. Okay, then we're going to move right on. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Martin, please address the agenda item of public comment.
School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a card and submitted that to me before the meeting began, you'll be called in the order of the card submitted. If you did not submit a card but still wish to address the school board this evening, the school board chair, Ms. Fisher, will give you an opportunity in a moment to express that desire. The rules concerning public comment to the school board are posted at the back of the room and include the requirement that any speaker wishes to address the school board to endorse the purchase of a product or service in which that speaker has a personal interest. The speaker must reveal that interest before making comment to the board. The school board does not respond during public comment time to remarks made by speakers. At the conclusion of public comment time, the school board chair may address concerns raised by speakers or may assign responsibility to the superintendent to do so. The time allowed per speaker is 3 minutes. Ms. Fisher, I have 12 cards this evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone on the right side of the auditorium who did not complete a card and wishes to address the board? Anyone on the left side of the auditorium? Thank you. Mr. Martin, please call the first card.
Due to the large number of cards, I'll call them in groups. I'll call the first 5. When your name is called, please come to one of the 2 lecterns. When your name is called the second time, then you may proceed with your comments. Our first 5 speakers are Mr. Paul Schaefer, Anthony Pistachi, Kelly Causey Collins, David Martinez, and Adam Zimmerman. Mr. Schaefer.
Madam Chairman, board members, during the last meeting, Mr. Scott said he would like to see academies created for STEM and for the arts. Well, Mr. Scott, so would I. It would be a blessing for our children with exceptional skills to go to schools where they are able to express their talents and challenged to think and create to the limits of their minds. It would be great to have teachers who could move our children beyond what is in the textbooks. This would once again make our country great. Mr. Scott, you and your fellow board members have crushed those dreams. This could have been an opportunity to be creative, to let imagination flow, and to test ideas to see where they lead. Instead, future dreams have been dashed away for 40 pieces of silver when this board accepted Common Core as a new standard for our schools. No one knew what Common Core was 3 years ago, yet you saw $45.3 million over 5 years in the grant and grabbed the carrot without asking one question. It is time boards started to listen to parents and not the dollars flowing from Washington. Question those who did the research and ask for proof of their findings when they say this is a great deal. A great deal for whom? Our children? Or the administration and teachers who can get a pay raise on the future of our children without making hard decisions? State leaders like Florida Senate President Don Gates, a former school superintendent, and Speaker Will Weatherford, who had supported Common Core, now has some reservations on some aspects. Mr. Gates recently told the Miami Herald he and Mr. Weatherford want to withdraw Florida from the consortium of states developing new exams to measure students on Common Core standards. Mr. Ray Pilon has come out against Florida's implementation of Common Core. He has stated on his Facebook, education standards are a local issue and not a national one. Let me say that again. Education is a local issue, not a national one. Stop giving the rights of the citizens of Lee County to have a say in the education of their children to a government bureaucracy which is not in our Constitution. It is only a cabinet position which should only recommend policy, not dictate policy, which they are doing with Common Core. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
Anthony Pistachi.
My name is Anthony Pistoki. I am an electrical engineer. I'm a resident here in Lee County. I have one son. He is a senior this year at South Fort Myers High School. And I'm here tonight to talk on behalf of one of the teachers. And I apologize to you. I'm here a little unprepared. This is what I have. The reason I'm unprepared is because I don't know the questions or the direction to bring my concerns. School started, and my son is actually third year in the engineering program over at South Fort Myers. My concern is is the teacher there, Mr. Grant. He's been doing a phenomenal job over the past 3 years that I've been involved with him. He's been a stand-up guy, always there for the kids. He's instituted an engineering program at the school that has really been developing over the years. I'm also part of Florida Engineering Society, and I'm a student liaison for the engineering students over at FGCU. And we kind of bridge the gap between college students and the professionals. Over the past few years, Mr. Grant has been participating in trying to bridge the gap between high school students and the colleges. So I've seen a major increase in the engineering program over at the high school. This year started, and it has fallen flat on its face. I went to go get answers. This is what I got. I went to find out what's going on. Everyone I spoke to said their hands are tied. I do not want to get into the accusations or whatever is going on. I want to point out to this board that these kids that you see over here and some behind me, probably triple, quadruple the amount, are involved with a robotics club that is eager to participate in some competitions. Over the past few years, they've done phenomenal. And Mr. Grant has been the major component of that. My concern tonight, and I want to express to the board, that basically we want him back. We want him back soon. These kids are ready to compete. These kids are ready to go into the classroom and learn. And since the beginning of the year, they've been faced with no answers, a substitute teacher, and a program that is just dead on its heels.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
You get the rest of the story.
Kaylee Causey-Collins.
I am here today, and I didn't prepare a speech, so I'll apologize in advance as well. But my son has been part of your school district for 3 years, 2 of which that he spent at Estero High School, under the tutelage of Coach Rich Dombrowski, who slowly tore my son down with degrading behavior, with F-bombs left and right out on a football field, and I was not the only parent that was upset over this. And in his senior year, my husband and I, after extensive thought, decided that we were going to take him out of this very negative environment and move him in his senior year to a new school. In 6 months, under the tutelage of Mr. Grant, my son regained his confidence, learned more than he ever learned, and will look back on the experience that he had with Mr. Grant being his teacher as one of the most memorable of those formidable school years. And I think that anyone that deprives any student of the opportunity to receive the same attention and the same knowledge that my son gained from the tutelage of Mr. Grant is being given a great disservice. So I respectfully ask this board to provide, number one, answers that we have been deprived of, that we've asked for, that we have not been given. I am constantly told of the secretive nature, although I already know because they called my son in to speak on Mr. Grant, and the things that he was told absolutely make no sense. It is ridiculous. So I am asking, is there anything that we can do, that we can get Mr. Grant back, because you are really providing these kids of an opportunity. He was suspended without even questioning how his students felt about the situation, without even questioning how the parents of those students felt about the situation. This man is respected. This man has done a great deal of honor to this district, and this district is being deprived of that by what is taking place. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Martinez.
My name is David Martinez. I am also a student at South Fort Myers and a third year in the engineering program. I'm also a member of robotics, and I'm here to talk about Mr. Grant too. Mr. Grant is one of the greatest teachers I've ever met. He's been a hero to me for the past 3 years. We've missed him. We need him for the engineering program and robotics. No other teacher in the school has put as much time and effort as he has for us. He cares about each and every one of us. If it wasn't for Mr. Grant, a lot of us would be in much worse shape than we would be right now. If it wasn't for Mr. Grant, I probably wouldn't be standing in front of you all right now. I wanted to stand here in front of you all right now to defend him. He is a great man, and we want him back, and we need him back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please refrain from responding to comments made by speakers to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to address the school board. Speakers 6 through 10 are Kim Zimmerman, A.J. Pistachi, Christian Gomez, Curtis Covinci, and Denora Lawless. Adam Zimmerman.
Hi, Adam Zimmerman. I'm a junior at South Fort Myers, and I'm at a loss for words because I don't know what I can say to prove that Mr. Grant is the absolute best teacher that I've ever had. He is the only teacher who has made me want to strive to better myself, to become something, to make more out of my life. He every day puts everything he has into the students, and he spends so much time after school with the robotics. He'd give anything just to help us, and I think it would be wrong of us to not come here and speak on his behalf, because he's a great man, and he deserves that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please refrain from applause at this time. Thank you.
Kim Zimmerman.
Dr. Graham, members of the school board, I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come and speak on behalf of Clyde Grant this evening. My son Adam is a junior at South Fort Myers High School and heavily involved in the engineering program and the robotics. I personally am an educator in Collier County and have been an educator for 25 years. I've seen good teaching. A good teacher inspires their students. A good teacher teaches his or her curriculum in such a manner that discipline is at a minimum because the kids want to be there. They want to be a part of it. They want to learn. A great teacher goes so far beyond that, and it is something that I could only aspire to. A great teacher is what we have in Clyde Grant. Our students are truly losing and suffering with him not being in the classroom. He has taken my son, who is a bright young man, but previously was unmotivated and undirected, and he has inspired him to make all A's in all of his courses, and he's in honors and AP courses. He's inspired him to give his own time. Last year in the robotics program, my son was at that school after school 4 out of 5 afternoons, many times till 5:30, working on the program. Mr. Grant has afforded him opportunities to work with computer engineering mentors. My son has learned how to program the robot. He's learned how to write software programs. He's competed in state competition and gained social skills as well as academic skills. These kids need this man back in the classroom. He is an inspiration. His dedication to these children is beyond anything I have seen in the 25 years I've been privileged to be a teacher. Please, I don't know the circumstances of what's going on, but I beg you to reinstate him into the classroom.
Thank you.
A.J. Pistoki.
What's up, guys? I'm also here because of Mr. Grant. I'm a level 3 engineering student at South Fort Myers High School. I'm also in robotics. And I'm here just to say that we want Mr. Grant back in the classrooms because he is the reason why all of us in engineering will be going to college to be engineering students and become engineers in the future. There's no doubt about it, we will. And Mr. Grant, he's not only a teacher in the classroom, he's a teacher 24/7 on his own time. Even if he's not in school, he will still be teaching. He spent every single day last year up until 5:30 after school, teaching us with robotics or kids who wanted to learn more in engineering. And with him out of the classroom, it's mitigating our abilities as students. Right now, we have a substitute teacher who he has no idea how long he will be there. The school has no curriculum to provide him. He is coming up with things, he's researching off the internet and providing for us out of his own pocket, his money, providing us with activities just to keep us busy because the school has no plan for us engineering students. And the Engineering Academy is by far the most amazing academy at South Fort Myers and will provide the brightest futures for us students. And we need him back in the classroom, and regardless of whatever the accusations are, why he's not in the classroom, if there are any accusations in the first place, but we need him back. And I can guarantee if students weren't involved in other extracurricular activities such as sports or jobs or whatever, this entire room would be filled with students speaking on his behalf, and you'd be hearing the same thing over and over and over until we drove the point that you guys would go home thinking it would be on your mind constantly that, wow, so many students have such great feelings for this guy, and he must be such a great teacher. We need to put him back in the classroom, and that's what needs to happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I second what this guy said.
Christian Gomez.
Good night. Hello, board. My name is Christian Gomez, and I'm a senior at Fort Myers, South Fort Myers. And I started at South Fort Myers last year, my junior year, with a goal to become something in the medical field. Now, I really didn't have any interest in the engineering program, but I started in the robotics team. Now, when I started in the robotics team, I really didn't pay any attention until we started actually doing things and learning things. That's what Mr. Grant inspired me to become, something more. He led me to be interested in the engineering academy overall. Doing that, I dropped a couple of my classes and I entered into the engineering academy. Now there, Mr. Grant would teach us, he would, instruct us, and he would just get us every kid in here interested in the engineering academy. I've changed my goal for what I want to become when I'm older because of Mr. Grant and his teaching. The robotics club and the solar go-kart has done so many things for me that I can't even explain. It's so inspirational, and to see how I progressed from being a mediocre student into something an A+ student. It's really amazing to see what Mr. Grant has accomplished. So we need him back, and that's it. Thank you.
Curtis Govinci.
I apologize for my handwriting. My name is Curtis Collins. I have a very bad handwriting. As my mom said, I'm a senior. I graduated senior at South. I went there last year. And as a sophomore at Estero, there was an engineering program there that I was very interested in, but it wasn't put together very well. You had a teacher that was there for 20 years. He did not have any aspect of what the future holds. He was still holding on to woodshop. Junior year came, I was a very excited person, ready to get myself out into football. I was very exercised, very energetic, ready to go out there. Then I had a football coach that wasn't really the nicest guy. As my mom said, he was very harsh to us football players. He wasn't the nicest. When we scored a touchdown, he would yell at us saying we weren't doing the best we can. So senior year came, I was kind of a destroyed kid. My confidence was destroyed throughout the summer. I had no idea what I wanted to do anymore because the engineering program at Estero just fell apart. And they had a certification there that I was all prepared for, which was the SolidWorks certification test. Around December of my junior year, I took the test and I failed miserably. I got one question right out the whole thing because I wasn't prepared for it. February of my junior year, I took the test again. I was short by one question that I did not get right, and I was kind of destroyed because after football, after engineering, I just felt like I had no point in life at that point. Then my mom took me out of football and transferred me to South, and within the first day, Mr. Grant came up to me and said if I was a robotics student. I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Within the first week, I went from a kid that would go home, play Xbox, eat junk food, to a kid that would stay till 6 o'clock working on the robot every day of the week. I even went on Saturdays and Sundays because that's the only thing I wanted to do. And as a kid, I'm not very good at foreign language, so I didn't take foreign language too, and I had no college to go to because they all require foreign language. However, Mr. Grant proposed a college for me to attend that did not require a foreign language too, and it was an engineering college that involved shipbuilding, and that's something that I've been more desired to do in my whole life, was to build a second Titanic, so to speak. Watching the movie as a kid, I was inspired by the water, I was inspired by the nature of the ships, I was just inspired. And Mr. Grant proposed a college to go to, and right now I'm actually online for an interview to go there in October, and I'm hoping for the best, but without Mr. Grant, I would be a lonely kid at home right now playing my Xbox, not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. For Mr. Grant to leave the program, it was kind of a devastate to me because I went from being a normal kid that didn't know what to do to a kid that within the first month I was actually the captain of the robotics team. I've never been the captain of anything in my life. And he inspired me. He inspired something that I was lost with football. He inspired a motivation for me to be something better than I could be. He inspired me to be the best student I can be. I went from making a C average to making an A and B average. He would tutor me. He would take me.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Your time is up, sir. Speakers 11 and 12 are William Lees and Dustin Thornton. Nora Lawless.
My name is Nora Lawless, and I have a daughter, Abigail Lawless, which is in robotics. I have been involved helping Mr. Grant mentoring the last 2 years. The word is inspiring. He is just that kind of person. I don't lie to you when I said that sometimes we have to tell the kids that you got to go home because they want to stay there. He has such a way with the kids that he don't need to yell at them or anything. They just want to do it. They just want to learn. We worked in go-karts, we worked in robots, we went to Daytona, we went to Fort Lauderdale. I just have one word for that man. It's inspiring. He's very inspiring to the students, and that's why I have been there and tried to help whatever I can. With the food, you know how it is with the mothers and everything, because I believe that what he does is amazing. My daughter, he's an outstanding student. And because of him, he has researched different engineering that she didn't know where to go. And then she said, well, you are really good at that. Consider this. Can you look at this? I want you to read this. And then she found about genetic engineering. And that's what she got in her mind. And now she's going to Edison. And the last year in high school, she got both things going right now. And she's really excited. But also, when she has engineering and robotics in the morning, she says, I don't really want to go because she feels like it's nothing for her there. We need Mr. Grant back. He is a really good teacher. I'm privileged that I have worked with him in the last 2 years. And we do need him back for all these kids. Thank you.
William Lees.
Good evening, Board. I am William Lees, and I am a senior, year 3 engineering. I'm also a former Boy Stater. Now, I can't really begin to tell you how many different ways Mr. Grant has impacted my life, but I can tell you that I'm starting to enlist soon. And Mr. Grant was in the Air Force, and he was always looking out for me. No matter what I want to do, I was like, I wanted to do something with engineering in the Army, and he was like, oh, well, you can do this, this, and this. And then he always gave me advice to look out to see what I was doing and how I would progress through my career once I get out of high school. But he has really taken the program as far as he could push it. We started robotics last year, or my sophomore year, we started robotics. The first competition we went to, we barely even made it to states. Our robot was falling apart, and it was a disaster. And then just recently, we went all the way to states, our second year, and got 7th place. 7th place in states in just 2 years. So, and I honestly believe that if Mr. Grant wasn't there, we wouldn't have got it. We wouldn't have gone there. I believe that we can go further this year. But we need Mr. Grant. He is the backbone of the engineering program at South. And on another note, with all of the things that he provided for me, robotics, engineering, when I put that on my application for Boys State, that probably helped me. And I love Boys State. That was the really good experience for me. And being able to, like, he impacted me in a sense to where I could have, he gave me that opportunity with the program he was providing. So, to end, you know, we need him. I know you've heard this like 12 times or however many times already, but it's so true because of just all the things he does for the program and how he impacts everyone who's sitting over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dustin Thornton.
Is this close on? Okay. Evening board, my name is Dustin Thornton. I'm a current senior at South Fort Myers High School. This is only my second year occurring for the engineering program. On the regards of Clyde Grant, professionally, probably the best engineering teacher that I'd realize ever in this district. And being as how much I've learned from him, inspired by him, I personally wouldn't know what to do with it without him being here. I went through junior year with him, fantastic year, went to all the competitions, welded, started to get into the field of engineering, completely oblivious to what is occurring this year. And I don't know if you can imagine my response to hearing Grant not being there. I have to tell you, it was quite breathtaking. I felt like literally stopping there and crying. Without him being there, I think I could literally fall apart. We need Grant back, not just for our engineering program, but for our personal relationship between him. He makes us who we are, and he's going to be the one who helps define us for our futures. So I would like the board to reconcile on bringing Mr. Grant back to South Fort Myers. Thank you. That is all.
Thank you. I'm going to ask for Dr. Graham to look into this situation and bring us back some information, please.
I can share at this point that this is an ongoing investigation. And obviously that's all we can share at this point. We will resolve it as quickly as possible, and one of two things will occur. Mr. Grant will return to the classroom, or we will work very hard to get someone qualified in that position. Until the investigation is completed, that decision can't be made. I would like to say to those who, it's impressive that you all came to speak on his behalf. I will say to you that the true legacy of a great teacher is that the students press on. And he apparently has taught you a lot of things, so I would put those into play. I have seen you all in action because I was a principal of a school that had a robotics team, and you were one of the teams to beat. So I know you know what you're doing, and you just need to press on and continue to work as hard as you can. Because a great teacher is able to do what they do because they've got kids that want to learn. And you have represented that that's what you want to do. So I would press on as the investigation is ongoing.
And thank you for coming here and presenting yourselves in such an appropriate way. He would be proud of that. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of action items under consent. Board members, are there any agenda items you wish to pull for discussion under the unfinished business tabled items portion of the agenda? Mrs. Dozier, are you here?
Yes, I am. I have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Morgan?
I have nothing.
Mr. Armstrong?
No, ma'am, I have nothing.
Mr. Scott?
None.
And I have none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda's consent action items?
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Scott and seconded by Mrs. Dozier. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Dozier?
I said aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0.
We have, if I could,
Yes.
we have one introduction to make based on the agenda items that were just approved, and that is to introduce our newest coordinator in school development. Ronald Ashley is how we really know him. Lamar was an assistant principal and has now moved to coordinator in school development. Mr. Lamar, if you would stand so everybody can see who you are. Thank you for being here.
Congratulations. Next on the agenda is superintendent's recommendations. Recommendation A for good cause, Dr. Graham.
And I need to clarify that when I gave you my rationale, it was not just the, I don't even know what advisory I told you, but it's the curriculum advisory and finance advisory that we're constituting. I think I might have said construction. I apologize, and if Mr. Martin were closer, he would have kicked me. Oh, it is construction. It's okay. It's 5 of them, okay. Several. Stop laughing.
Dr. Graham.
Is there a way to hang her up on the phone? Okay,
You did say construction.
I did. Okay, well, that's because they're all on here, so I apologize that they were left off the original agenda. Board approval of the appointments to the Construction Advisory Committee, Continuous Systemic Improvement Advisory Committee, Curriculum Advisory Committee, and Finance Advisory Committee effective September 11th, 2013 through the date of the regular school board meeting in September 2014, at which time the board takes action to appoint members to board advisory committees.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Morgan, seconded by Mrs. Dozier. Any discussion?
I have something.
Yes, Mrs. Dozier.
I had the pleasure yesterday of having lunch at a table with one of the people that is going to serve on our advisory committee for curriculum. She was very, very excited about it. And she had, asked me about it earlier and said, how do I do it? And she was just extremely excited, and I know that committee is going to be very, very well blessed by her presence there as a past educator. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank all of the citizens of the community that are willing to give up their time to serve on these committees. And sometimes the time may seem like it's really not well spent because the issues don't come before the board, but we do value your opinion, and we appreciate the fact that you do have wrestled with ideas, and we do listen to what you say, and we value your opinion, and we do talk about it at our briefing meetings. And we need to make sure that we do a better job of how they report out to us. We need to report back to them after we have had a discussion on anything they have brought forward. So I would ask that we do that in the future, that we do a better job of reporting back to all the committees on when we have discussed the issues that they bring to us.
Great suggestion. Thank you, Mrs. Dozier. Board members, any other comments? Okay, then all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item B, Dr. Graham.
Approval for a one-time increase to the estimate annual expenditure of bid number B127094SM for the purchase of diesel and unleaded gasoline transport delivery to Port Consolidated, Inc. as primary vendor, and Evans Energy Partners, LLC, doing business as Evans Oil Company, as secondary vendor by $2,209,000, increasing the previously approved estimated annual expenditure of $10,972,000 to the total estimated annual expenditure of $13,181,000 through November 6, 2013, and authorization for the superintendent to execute all necessary documents.
Thank you, board members. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Dozier, seconded by Mrs. Morgan. Any discussion? Mr. Scott.
It seems to me this pops up periodically, and I don't know why that is. Either we have a contract or we don't have a contract. Are we contracting for gallons at whatever the price may happen to be at the time we need to buy it? Or are we guaranteeing, are we purchasing gallons at a specific price? This does come here fairly frequently to raise this number.
Amy?
What you're actually approving is the the expenditure that you're allowing the district to do. So in this particular case for diesel fuel, we don't necessarily contract by a dollar amount per gallon because they won't really, because of the fluctuation of gas prices, they won't necessarily give us that. So we can't lock in a price for any specific period of time. But what we do bring to you on the agenda items is what we think the annual expenditure will be within a given period of time. We cannot go over that expenditure within that time period. If we reach a point where we reach that dollar amount that you previously approved, but we need more in terms of, making it through the rest of the time period, we must bring it back to the board for your approval. So it really is the dollar amount that we've expended in this particular category that is at issue. And that is, of course, because of the fluctuation of gas prices. They've gone up more than what we would have anticipated when we first brought the agenda item to the board.
So going back to our conversation earlier on the budget, this would be one of those categories where there were dollars available but uncommitted at the time the budget was created.
Well, yeah, correct. Or they might have been committed somewhere else. We can move the dollars in between function and objects, but we haven't gone over, that total amount that was appropriated for all expenditures within the budget.
Okay, thank you.
So it's kind of between one category to another.
Thank you. Any other discussion, board members? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Graham, item C.
Approval of the annual financial report for the School District of Lee County, Florida for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2013.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the annual financial report for the school district for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2013. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Morgan, supported by Mr. Armstrong. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next item D, please.
Approval to increase the cost for the new Tice Elementary School renovation project by $350,000 for a total project cost of $15,232,506, and authorization for the superintendent to execute all necessary documents.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Dozier, seconded by Mrs. Morgan. Any discussion?
I do have a question.
Yes, Mrs. Dozier.
Could you give us some rationale as to why we are making a budget adjustment on the total cost?
This is about asbestos removal that was unexpected, correct, Bill?
Okay, right. A lot of times people know why we have to make budget adjustments, and I think it's good that we take this opportunity to let them know that, so thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dozier. Any other discussion, board members? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Final item, Dr. Graham.
Approval to ratify the issues contained in the proposed 2014 legislative program of the Greater Florida Consortium of School Boards.
Thank you. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by
Support.
Mr. Scott, supported by Mr. Armstrong. Any discussion? Mr. Scott?
Well, I think there were 4 of us at the consortium meeting, so everything that appears on the list of consortium priorities, we were a part of having conversation and supported. So everything that's in front of you should not be new news, but it in many ways does conform to the specific priorities that we had as a district, but this is for the benefit of the consortium of 12 or 13 coastal counties in the southern part of the state. So that power, I believe we have, I think it was 52% of the funding
Right.
for state education purposes comes from these consortium counties, and we have almost 50% of the students in these counties as well. So it's a potentially very powerful group when it comes to going to Tallahassee and making arguments, and these priorities are there's quite a few of them in there, but we do have specifics for our own district that we're going to push a little harder when we get up there.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Any other discussion, board members? And I just want to say thank you to you, Mr. Scott, and to Mrs. Dozier for the work and helping us get to consensus on that. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next on the agenda is board members' comments and reports. Mrs. Dozier, do you have something this evening?
No, I just want to thank all of the people that came to the board meeting this evening, and I appreciate the fact that they were willing to stand up for the teacher, and I hope that somehow this gets back to the teacher. And I do have a question for Dr. Graham for her to answer during her comments. If she could tell us, is this a district investigation, or was this a probe by the state? If you could basically tell us where it is coming from. Also, I would like to say that I'm looking forward to, I was at a meeting yesterday and there was some talk about Common Core. I'm looking forward to the discussion that we're going to have about Common Core. I know there continues to be a lot of conversation out there, and it's good, bad, and indifferent. And I think that, when we all have a better understanding of exactly what it is, then we can begin to really make some decisions as far as what we want to do. Because I think some of us are going to have input as far as what the legislature is talking about doing that might eventually opt us out of Common Core. So, as it was said yesterday by the speaker, that, they can't automatically just, put in legislation at this time that says we're going to eliminate Common Core, because of all the investment in textbooks and that type of thing that we've already done. And when Dr. Graham and I were talking yesterday, we talked about the fact that there has not been any, really, I don't know that there's been any discussion at the state level about how many man-hours that have been put in for training, and that's a discussion that we need to have with our legislators. But in the meantime, it's an ongoing thing that there is going to be a lot of discussion, and I just look forward for us having our public discussion on the 24th of this month. And I want to thank Mr. Schaefer for always keeping us grounded on, the issues that are very pertinent out there. And that's all, and thank you again for the budget that we approved this afternoon, Dr. Graham and your staff. I think it's a very good budget, and it should serve us very well for this school year.
Thank you, Mrs. Dozier. Mrs. Morgan?
Yes, I have some comments this evening. First of all, I visited Sanibel School last week, and they had plastered on a wall the pages that they'd done a workshop on defining world-class school district as far as the Sanibel community was concerned. And they arrived at this final definition, and I liked it, and so I thought I'd read it since we've been talking about what is a world-class school district. A world-class school district provides an innovative, rigorous, and global education focused on student engagement and authentic learning, in which all stakeholders strive toward a common goal of preparing students to be career-ready problem solvers and lifelong learners while earning achievement levels at or above international curriculum standards. So I look forward to hearing what it is for the entire district, but I think if that's the kind of thing you're getting from the schools, you've got quite a challenge. The other thing, the other comment the principal, Barbara Van Harten, made was that sort of in anticipation of Common Core, every day the students are asked to respond to a question in writing. And so I asked her to send me some examples. And here are some of the questions just examples of questions that students are asked to respond to in writing every day. First grade math. When counting coins, why is it easier to start with a coin of greater value? First graders have to answer that question in writing. Fourth grade social studies. How did the steamship and railroad influence the growth of Florida cities? Use specific supporting details evidence from the text. So Common Core and current or our local history. Middle school science. Explain why Newton's laws of motion often seem not to apply here on Earth. Well, I got to tell you, I'd have to stop and think about how to write that down and make it really clear. So I think that's just impressive work that they're doing, and I wanted to mention that. I also went to FMIT for a meeting with a colleague, and I want to give a shout out to their cafeteria for the quality of their food and the prices, and also to suggest to the women that they have spa services, and maybe you want to avail yourself of those. I met with Tessa Lesage from the Department of Sustainability because I serve on the committee and I wasn't quite sure what the role of the school board rep was. We had a great conversation, and I think in response to something that the chair said this afternoon in our briefing, their whole focus is on interconnectivity of the various public service entities in the county and across county lines. And so we talked briefly about some things that maybe we could do in the school district, and I think we have a couple of questions that would be appropriate to sort of initiate a meeting with the county commission. Met with the executive director of the Bonita Springs Chamber, who has been very concerned about the Hertz relocation here and the impact on the district. And so Dr. Graham and I and Amity Chandler will be meeting with her to make sure that we are doing everything we can do as a district to make that an easy move. I'm going to steal Greg Adkins' thunder. He wrote a wonderful bio of Bill Moore, who is leaving the district, retiring, and this is a slightly different audience, and so I thought I would borrow from some of his notes and just, mention to you. Oh. Okay, whatever. Bill Moore came to the district in 1993. He was an architect. When he arrived, there were fire watchers in the schools. That was the state of the infrastructure in this district. 20 years later, today, he's built 36 schools, 3 transportation centers, remodeled big boxes into schools, created an audit process, a bid process, and a schedule for refitting and maintenance in all of the existing properties. And you did not mention this one comment, but I am going to mention it. He said the most difficult project he ever worked on was the central office building. That's this building. And it was, I guess, an incredible project to consolidate and move the district operations into this building. He got everybody in, and he knew exactly where building or where maintenance and construction was going to go, and he got told by the superintendent he couldn't come here. He would have to stay where he was. Oh, you're back there. I should get you to get up and tell the story. Anyway, he said he felt like Moses at that point. He did all of the work, and he never got to cross the river to work in this building, and I think that's a nice way to close your story. So thank you again for your service to the district. Your imprint is everywhere. And my last comment is I will be missing the next 2 board meetings because I will be out of the country, but I will try to check in by phone if I can, and I have asked that DVDs be made of the proceedings so that if I can't sit in, I will at least know what has taken place. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you very much, and be safe and have a wonderful trip.
Thank you.
Mr. Armstrong.
I'll make mine fairly quick tonight. First, Mr. Schaefer, I spoke at the last meeting about the Common Core. I don't agree with it. I've seen so many glaring holes there. The biggest problem I keep finding with it, though, that you go from one end of the spectrum to the other. Some people say it's very easy. Nobody really knows what's in that. That worries me, especially when I have kids here myself that's going to have to take this. I'm very concerned. I've taken the effort to reach out to some of our local legislators and talk to them about it as well, to find out what we can do, because this is a scary, scary thing that we're dealing with. To the students, I admire you for having the courage to stand up here and talk about your teacher. I can't discuss it, but it took a lot of courage. And I think that says a lot of volume what kind of teacher he is when his students will show up here and rally for support of him. So I admire each one of you for doing what you're doing. You have to be proud of yourselves, and I'm sure if he's watching, he is. The other thing I did want to discuss is tell Dr. Graham thank you so much for the other week for accompanying me out to North Fort Myers Academy of the Arts Steel Band concert. And again, I've asked Dr. Graham if maybe in the near future that we can bring the steel band and some other students, throughout the year and let them set up here and play for the briefing meeting, the action meeting, whatever. We hear so much bad stuff from the media, sorry, Ashley, that I'd like to you guys see what the good things these kids are doing. I want to see the robots. Bring these robots. Let's see what's going on with these students. Bring them up front. I went to the robotics last year, and I believe it was last year at Mariner, and it was amazing what some of these students are doing. But again, Dr. Graham, I really want to say thank you and look forward to maybe we can bring some of these students in and show some of the hidden talents that nobody ever sees out there. The other thing I did want to talk to you, Dr. Graham, and maybe you can give me an update. A week ago, I had a meeting with you, Pete Bohatch, Captain Eric Smith, Patrick A. Hurst about some of the security ideas that I had, and you told me things that you was working on as far as safety checklists. And my main concern was to find ways that, as a board, that we can help these principals, because they're scattered out in these buildings so much that I think it's very important that we find different ways where we can help these principals out and maintain a safe environment for these students. So if you can give me an update of maybe something you've been working on.
Friday, Mr. Bohatch will have a checklist ready for us to share with all principals, just basic awareness, security issues, just the basics of how to be sure you know who's coming in and out of your building, et cetera, et cetera. Also, the day after your meeting, I know Captain Smith spoke with the SROs and reminded them that part of their role is to, as they see things on a campus, that they share that with the administration as well. So that's been ongoing, but he took the time as a result of the meeting to remind them again. Also, apparently there were threat assessments done on every school 2 years ago by the sheriff's office, and I don't know what happened. Apparently nothing was done with them. They were done and then they were filed. So Mr. Hayhurst has found them, and Mr. Bohatch is going through them to give us a summary of where we might begin if there are any glaring issues that we need to address security-wise. So we're in process And one of the things that was requested is that we have staff and professionals go from school to school to see if there are any issues that need to be addressed immediately. And I know that Mr. Hayhurst does that regularly, but we are working with the Sheriff's Office. I have a meeting coming up with them shortly, but we're working with the SROs and Mr. Bohatch and Mr. Hayhurst to work through some of those as we go through. But the very first thing will be the checklist, and as soon as we get that and Cabinet has reviewed it next week, it'll be shared with principals, just because we do have some new principals, and I know that's part of the concern, and it's just basic. If you're doing nothing else, be sure you're doing these things. So we are in process of working on several areas that were raised in that meeting.
I'm sure my colleagues and myself would love to see that checklist. I mean,
Absolutely.
So if maybe we can get an email to us or something.
Absolutely.
On that is all my comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Mr. Scott?
I had a conversation with the superintendent the other day and asked her a couple of questions, and she was kind enough to give me an answer on several of them, and I've left the paper on my desk, so I'm going to ask it again. One of the questions was, since everything happens in the classroom, as far as I'm concerned, how many empty teaching positions do we have? And you gave me a number.
Yesterday, we were advertising 27 instructional positions.
Okay. And out of about 6,000, that's
pretty good.
Probably not to be expected at this point in time.
I would say so.
All right. I also made a comment to her. I happened to be watching television the other night, and something came on HBO about people with dyslexia, and it made me ask questions of myself. Many of these people were high school students, college students. Some people have very successful careers. David Boies, who was an attorney during that, 2000 campaign, where they were arguing over who got the ballots and who didn't. Charles Schwab, all dyslexic. And it made me ask the question, do we know how many kids in the system have that as a learning disability? And when you listen to those kids talk in there, they until it was discovered, they felt like they were the odd people out. They just really didn't have their hands around anything. And so my question was, do we have anything in place that can help us identify these people and then help them overcome some of those problems? And it's as much them knowing clearly and our knowing how to handle them. So.
Well, and actually, the first question he asked after he told me about the special was, do you know how many children with dyslexia we have in the district? And I said, are we playing Stump the Superintendent today? Because you're winning. I haven't had a chance to talk to Mike Burstyn yet, but my request was going to be, A, how many do we have that are actually labeled dyslexic, and also what is the process? Because we had the conversation, in my experience as a principal, many children, that was one of the last things that people looked for when they realized a child was having an issue. So, Mike, if you could pull some information together that we could share with all the board members about that specific exceptionality, that would be great. And how many we have, because I have promised board members I'll get answers to their questions, and that one I had no clue.
Well, I didn't realize it was as big an issue until I happened to watch that show and see how many people they were showing as examples of that. So I wanted to let everybody know that I went out to River Hall the other day for the dedication of their reading center, and it was dedicated to Alan Humfleet, who was the original principal at River Hall. And it's basically using a portable classroom that they've turned into a reading center. And their plan is to, this first year, offer it to kindergartners and first graders and their parents who come in, and they will be able to take a book home with them, that it becomes theirs. So they have a nice, neat little library in there, and it's a way to get parents engaged again and kids to be able to take something home. Now, Mr. Armstrong did something like that a couple years ago at one of the elementary schools, and it was very well received. But I want to congratulate Dr. Lemaster and his group for taking the initiative to put that thing together. I can't go without making a comment to you guys as well. I appreciate you all coming here and having the nerve to stand up at that podium and express yourself very well. What hit me when I listened to all of them talk is the tremendous value of a teacher who understands the practical application of what it is they're teaching. And that's really what it's about the older you get, is I must know what it is I'm going to do with what you're trying to teach me. How does it benefit me? What is it going to mean for my career? And so I don't know the details. That's not really a responsibility that any of the board members have. That's a responsibility of the administration to do whatever investigation needs to be done for whatever reason. But I'm sure that the superintendent will bring us an answer back at the appropriate time. And I will keep my fingers crossed that things work out in the right way. But as she said a while ago, you have an interest. Bear down on it and do the best you can with the situation you have until it resolves itself. And my last comment would be, again, to Mr. Schaefer. I think you made an assumption that we've already bought in hook, line, and sinker to Common Core, and you couldn't be more wrong. We're going to have a workshop about it in a few weeks. I have great trepidation about many parts of it, and I've asked the superintendent to provide some data that will be helpful to me in looking at the entire thing to see whether it makes sense or not. We're here to make learning better for our kids, period. And we may be able to pick and choose some things that make a difference. Earlier today we were talking about the SES program, which has morphed into something else and come back to the district to be managed, and that's where it belongs. The decisions need to be made locally, not in Washington and not in Tallahassee. It's our job because we work for you. And so that is coming along, and we'll have our discussions, and some of us agree, some of us disagree, some of us passionately disagree or passionately agree. We're going to find the middle ground and do what's right ultimately for the kids. But I don't want you to make a mistake and think that we've already come to a conclusion, because that's not the way I feel about it. Thank you, Ms. Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Okay, now it's my turn. I've made several school visits. I attended Gulf Elementary's 30th anniversary celebration, and it was quite amazing. Ida Baker High School is celebrating their 10th year this year. I visited Cape and Pelican Elementary, and great things are happening. I have not visited a lunchroom like the one I saw at Pelican Elementary, where the kids were so excited the minute the principal walked in. And also, I want to mention about Cape Coral High School and Mariner High School. Their bands are collaborating. They've been invited to go to Washington and march in the National Memorial Day Parade. So when you see them out there fundraising, please offer your support. I also visited FMIT and looked at some of their programs and talked with the career specialist about job placements. They have had an incredible response from the business community who are visiting the campus and hiring people right on the spot, so they're really happy with that. They have a new career center, and their snack bar also is pretty good. So I'm going to look into the spa services. I had an opportunity to attend the football game last week at Fort Myers High School for Sam Sirianni night, and had a lot of fun there. And also had a really wonderful experience at Island Coast High School, where I got to work with the dual enrollment intro to teaching class. I learned a lot. I am the co-chair of the Learning for Life Committee, which is character ed programs, and they're now serving 43 schools. They are continuing at high schools with Career Explorers, and this year introducing career exploring clubs to middle schools, and they will be funding 2 schools to do that to begin with. The Foundation for Lee County Public Schools, who are amazing and support us in so many ways. They are in the third of a 5-year grant with National Education Association. They've been highlighted in the Huffington Post, and we have been called a flagship district nationally. They will be recognized in Washington in October, and I want to take a minute to thank Marshall Bauer and the staff, all the schools who are participating, the hard work that the teachers and the students are putting in, and a special thanks to Donna Munsenard and Mark for their support and driving the bus on this one. The Coalition for a Drug-Free Lee County, they focus on prevention and drug-free lifestyle. They'll be having a Recovery Month proclamation presentation at the Board of County Commissioners on the 17th at 9:30 in the morning. There will be an event sponsored by the Recovery Place at Hodges University Naples campus, also on the same day in the evening at 6. And there'll be a celebration at Gwendolyn's Cafe in Fort Myers for Recovery Month. Gwendolyn has her cafe, and she mentors and sponsors people in recovery. And we have, many of our students and family who are impacted by substance abuse. So I hope that you will support the coalition as they work in the community to create awareness and heighten education and to help to keep us all safe and drug-free. I had a tour of Park Royal Hospital. It's the new psychiatric hospital that deals with people with mental illness and/or substance abuse problems. They do not have youth as patients, but they do reach out into the community and have offered to share an anti-bullying program called the Jason Project with us. It's sponsored by Walmart, and they have requested a meeting with Dr. Graham and key staff to discuss how this would fit into our health education here in the district. Lastly, October will be Anti-Bullying Month, and we are preparing for that. I know that Dr. Bohatch and Lori Brooks and their staff are working with the schools on different activities. Student Crime Stoppers will be encouraging all people to wear blue T-shirts to recognize that day, and our school district will do the same in support of the effort. I want to say to you students that your behavior here tonight and in the manner in which you presented yourself makes you role models for the rest of our kids, and thank you for doing that in such a good way. And to my colleagues, thank you for the board retreat, and that's all I have this evening. Next on the agenda is attorney comments or reports. Mr. Martin.
It's just one issue. Mrs. Dozier, you had requested I share comments with the board from you on your behalf concerning the Student Advisory Council. Do you still need me to share those?
Wasn't that brought up at the briefing meeting today?
No, ma'am.
No.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought that we were going to have a discussion on that at the briefing, and I wanted it those were for that meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Okay, great. And Dr. Graham.
To respond to your question, the situation with Mr. Grant is a district investigation, and I want to address, there was a comment about us being secretive. There is law that we have to follow, and due process and privacy of employees is part of that. So we're not intentionally being secretive, we're following process, and that's what we have to do. But it is a district investigation. There was something else someone said that was... Okay, it's gone. I should have written it down. I am keeping I found a journal, and the name on the journal was A Journal of Awesome, and I decided that I would keep that journal about things that happen in the school district. I did say yesterday to Greg, I don't think today's going to go in the journal. That was yesterday. But I will tell you that there are many, many positive things happening in our district every day, and I'm grateful that you all get to schools and you get to see some of it in action. I got the chance to go to the Keys with the Ida S. Baker football team on Friday. I think we're the only Lee County team that actually got to play on Friday night. The weather was beautiful there, and we were getting ongoing text about how awful it was here. Kudos to those who persevered and played on Saturday and on Monday night, because as a former principal, I know how hard that is. But one of the things that went in my journal was that for the first time in my career, a football team at the end of the game stood up and sang happy birthday to me, and I know that was probably the last thing they wanted to do, but it was delightful. So I am grateful, as I say every meeting, to be allowed to lead this district. We are doing wonderful, wonderful things. Miracles are happening every day, and even as we discuss the hard issues, and they are coming, I know that there are great things happening, and even though it was a sad reason you all came, seeing high school students here sharing from their hearts was inspiring to me. So thank you for that. And that's it.
Thank you very much. And one last comment. Bill Moore, thank you and Godspeed. And I've got your number in my phone on speed dial, so.
That was the other thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry, Bill. You've gotten me so programmed that you don't want to talk about it, but we did say wonderful things about Bill Moore at the briefing meeting. Greg did a great job with what Amity wrote. And Mrs. Morgan, thank you for summarizing that. But indeed, your handprints, footprints, they're everywhere in this district, and you will, I think Mr. Armstrong said this afternoon, you will be long remembered after many of us are away from this place. So enjoy retirement. You have earned it, and we're all just a little bit envious, but we wish you all good things as you move into the next phase of your life. And thank you for your service to this district.
Thank you. Thank you all. The next scheduled meeting of the board, September 24th, 2013, is a school board workshop at 2 o'clock, followed by a school board action meeting at 6 p.m. At this point, having no other business to come before this body, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Scott and seconded by Mrs. Dozier. All in favor? Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.